The reference photo for today's painting is from Lorne, a beautiful coastal town in Australia, around 2 hours drive from Melbourne. And what you see now is a famous painting by well-known Australian artist Arthur Streeter, titled The Ocean Blue. And this painting was painted in Lorne as well. And as you can see, the reference photo that we are going to paint today also has a similar view with a similar looking tree as well. So let's get started and see what we end up with. I'll just spray some water to get things started. I'll mix a bit of cobalt blue and a bit of manganese blue. And start putting in the sky first. Next, I'll move on to the sand. I'll mix a bit of raw sienna with a hint of red in it. And I'll mix a bit of purple. And put in the wet sand as well in one go. Needs to be a bit more blue in there. Next we'll move on to the water. So I'll mix a bit of cobalt blue with a bit of cobalt teal blue. So and the paper needs to be a bit wet. Next I'll move on to painting this particular hill over here. So I'll be mixing a bit of Viridian green mixed with a bit of burnt sienna. And this part is almost dry, so what I'll do is I'll add a bit of a purple into the water closer to the horizon, so it's got a bit of purple there. So next I'll move into this area. So this will be painted in two phases. First I'll put in a paler wash of green, then it'll be filled up with the darker green. So I'll start mixing the pale green first. So we are pretty much done with all the lighter areas of the painting. So next I need to put in the trees and stuff. So this is the reference photo. So I need to put in the dark areas. So this particular tree here and the area over here would be the darkest tones, and also here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of the darkest tone, and these branches and leaves here would be, they'll be a bit darker than all these areas, but not as dark as this. So those are the things that I keep in mind as I move into the next phase of the painting. So I'll mix a bit of green, using a bit of turquoise and burnt sienna and burnt umber. Almost kind of a warmish green, and start putting in the trees over here. Needs to be a bit more warmer. I'll add a bit of orange as well. Yep, that I kind of got the shape right there, so that's good. And more branches here. And we'll put in the tree branches first. Sorry, branches next. So we'll move on to the branches, and yep, so that denotes a few branches, and I'll use this knife to just remove a bit of pigment as well. Yep, looks good. Next, I'll move on to the tree over here. It's a lot darker than what I painted earlier, so I'll start again with the turquoise and add a lots of burnt umber into it. It's somewhere here, so need to get the shape of the tree right, otherwise it will look very odd. Okay. Yep, I think it looks good. And the underlying wash has not dried properly and it's creating a few soft edges, which kind of looks really good. Not something that I planned, but it looks really good. And a few trees here. This will kind of give a nice closure to the painting on this side. So and we've got a few kind of what do you call, a few wispy plants over here. I initially thought of not putting them in, but then I realized that it will be a good way to show that it's a windy day, and so let's go ahead and put them in as well. So they're much paler in color compared to the tree trunks aren't this dark in the reference photo, but I just need it to ground these trees to our foreground, so just made them a bit darker than what they are. And I totally forgot about the dark area here, so ideally should have used the same mix that I had for this. Mixing it again doesn't always work, but got no option. Yeah, it looks a bit different, it's alright. So that looks good. Now it's time to put in the darks here. Pretty much most of the painting is done. Now we move into the details of the painting. So we got to like refine these buildings a bit more and add the figures over here and the surface in the water, and I think, yeah, we should be done. And next I'll add the figures. So we've got most of them in yellow, orange and red live vests. So I'll put in that color first in. And I'll use a bit of white paint to put in a few buildings here, houses and stuff, which I ideally should have used the whiteness of the paper, but I couldn't leave the white spots behind, so a few houses. And there's a bench over here. And bits and pieces that we are not really worried about. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Just need to clean up this area a bit. It's got too much details for my liking, so I'll just smoothen them out and darken a few bits here and there. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this painting. I thoroughly enjoyed painting it.